So moving on, the next method is draw what you see. So for this one, and all the methods after, we're going to be using reference. Now, this is really important, and it's something that I don't know why, but there's a stigma that if you're using reference, you must not be a real artist because real artists don't use reference. Well, that's kind of nonsense. I mean, every professional I know, every single one of them uses reference. Even the people who might say, I don't use reference, they probably use reference and they're just saying it. And the people who are just drawing and you're looking, maybe they're just drawing from imagination and, you know, whatever. They're drawing a person, you're like, well, they don't have a reference there. And it's like, yeah, they don't have a reference, but that's only because they've been drawing from reference and they really understand. And you're just looking at the end result. So, you know, it's like anything. Like, you wouldn't see a pianist on stage, a concert pianist, someone who plays piano, anyway. Yeah, you wouldn't see them on stage practicing scales, right? But that doesn't mean they don't practice their scales. They didn't learn how to read music. That means they've done all of that, and because of that, then they can play, and they don't have to show you what they've gone through. But anyway, so that's just my thing on reference. But draw what you see. So what's that about? Well, the first thing is that you would usually start with this frame. And you get your framing down. And then within that, you would start to look at the negative space, see where does this fit on the page. You go through your guides, you measure, use your eyes really carefully, and you train yourself to draw things like you'll pay attention to the angles, and you'll just draw what's in front of you. And this takes a lot of training, but eventually you can break things down and really do a pretty decent drawing of what you see. So without going too much, because I think you can get a general idea of this. It's a very slow process. You get faster with practice, but yeah. Let's go over the pros and the cons. Well, the pros are that with a lot of practice again, and here's another pro, it's that you don't need talent to do this. You just need to practice and understand what to practice. There's really like a way of breaking things down. Things like bark drawings and just training yourself. It's something that, you know, you really don't need to be thinking in terms of talent. So that's something that's great. If you've heard your whole life that artists need talent to draw, well, in this case, they don't. It's just practice. But anyway, another pro is that this, when you're good at it, it looks awesome. This is what really gets you those photoreal results. And it's also going to get you a lot of praise. When people see your work and they see this stuff and it just looks incredibly real because you've just studied like crazy. You can see angles everywhere, your proportions are good. Then yeah, you're gonna get praise. So it's also popular on YouTube. You can see a lot of people who do photorealistic images, and this is all it is. It's that they've trained their eye to see values, to see angles, to see proportion. Things like this little thing. I'm just looking at this angle from here to here, making sure it's correct. And in life drawing, if you've ever done life drawing, or maybe you've even just seen artists and they hold a pencil in front of their face and they're just measuring and adjusting for angles and things like that. This is really what they're doing. They're drawing what they see. So yeah, you get really good results. You get a lot of people commenting on how great you are. But yeah, it doesn't require talent. It just requires hard work. Now, some of the cons, though. The biggest con with this is that you are drawing what you see. So you can't draw from imagination. You might strengthen your visual library, meaning that after doing this and after really studying, you could draw this from imagination. You've memorized this. You could also understand the proportions of it. But really, if someone tells you to just draw something from imagination, it's going to be really difficult for you. It helps now to learn your anatomy and to learn all that, but you don't actually need it that much, just because if you're really, really, really good at copying what you see, you're going to get that anyway, almost by accident. But then a lot of people think that, and then you look at their work, and again, it's like the person who is copying. You'll see little mistakes, little areas they didn't get. The other thing is that there's not much life in this. However, because you can draw such a detailed thing, you can add your own style to it and make up for that lack of life just with impressiveness. I don't know how else to describe it. Just by creating an awesome looking image. This is really the fine art approach, or at least an approach that's used very often right now in fine art. It's a classical approach, could also call it a traditional approach. It's been handed down from centuries. So a lot of the old masters would know this, and measuring angles, getting things looking just right. So that's that, but again, you can't draw from imagination. So the good thing is, if you want to create fine art pieces, great, it's going to do that. Bad thing, if you want to work as like a concept artist or a character designer or any other job, and again, the following methods are going to be really suited to someone who is going for the professional side of things. It's great for fine art, not so great for other commercial art.